Good morning. This is Phil and Jovine behind the markets. Happy Thursday. Today is Thursday, April 9th. And I'd like to talk today a little bit about President Trump's 2027 budget request for the defense industry, basically for the Pentagon, for the military. And what you're really looking at here is historic. We've touched on this before. The budget was, before he got in office, it was about $900 billion. His first year, it was $1 trillion, first time in history that a U.S. military budget went over $1 trillion. And now he's actually asking for 2027 for that to jump basically almost 50% here to $1.5 trillion. That is a shocking headline number, but the truth is it brings us back to Cold War era levels of spending, of defense spending in relation to GDP, which is about 5%. Remember, after the Berlin Wall collapsed, defense spending went from 5% to 4% to 3% of GDP as we didn't have to contest the Soviet Union everywhere. And Bill Clinton in the 90s were the great beneficiary of that. I always tell people the 90s were a great decade because the Berlin Wall falls. We're not worried about nuclear Armageddon all the time. We used to worry about that growing up. And all of a sudden, all that extra budget money went right into paying down debt, getting our house in order, which is great. Here we are. China has risen. The U.S. has to actually prepare for that. And the best way to not fight a war with China is to show them that we are serious, that we have the biggest, baddest stick on the block. So how is that going to benefit investors? We've been talking about this, predicting this for years, because we understand that in a rising China, it's going to affect a bunch of things, and military budgets will go up as a result. This is interesting. Basically, I guess the two big takeaways here are Navy is huge. Finally, we're getting serious about shipbuilding. They're going to see their shipbuilding budget double to about $65 billion versus $27 billion. Very, very important. History has shown us that countries that have a navy are dominant. China's navy now outnumbers ours, and they are building ships at a 200-to-1 rate in terms of manufacturing capacity. So there is no way we can stay there without boosting our shipbuilding. So we've got to build more ships. Thankfully, his budget addresses that. Also seeing a big bump is the Space Force. Its request of $71 billion represents a 77% year-over-year increase. Very, very important. But a lot of folks ask me, why sudden interest in the moon again? Why the sudden interest in the moon? Remember something, the first move of the next war isn't going to be on ground. It's going to happen in space. There's no doubt about that. And the moon represents the ultimate high ground, if you will. There's a lot of things happening here that governments are working on to position assets in space and, frankly, on the moon. Because again, there's going to be satellites fighting each other, weapons from Earth fighting satellites fighting each other, and the moon gives the ultimate high ground in that kind of competition. So far, the big winners are General Dynamics on the shipbuilding side, the symbol is GD, and Huntington Ingalls, which the symbol is HII. And by the way, I almost forgot, the Defense Department's also asking Lockheed Martin, symbol LMT, for 85 brand new F-35 jets, which is up from 47 last year. So Lockheed Martin going to see a lot of new business. And of course, the Army is getting an increase in their Armored Multi-Purpose Vehicle, the AMPV, and that is made by Britain's BAE Systems. Now, we own or have recommended most of these in our model portfolio. We have General Dynamics and Breakthrough Wealth. We have Lockheed Martin. We have BAE. And by the way, if you're interested, if you believe this big boost in military spending is going to help America, you might want to pick up like the iShares U.S. Aerospace and Defense Industry ETF. The symbol is ITA. If you don't want to get more specific, so if you just want to say, you know what, I want to get involved in aerospace, generally, that's a good ETF to pick up. ITA is the symbol, iShares U.S. Aerospace and Defense ETF. But if you'd like to get a little bit more specific and find other companies that we've done deeper dive research into, smaller companies, really, that are really going to help in this Space Force kind of way, because that's a whole new area. There's a whole new crop of companies that are really well positioned to help in that. Check out the special report that we've updated on this very topic. You'll see a bunch of smaller companies that are for customers only. But if you're not interested in all that kind of stuff and you just want to set it and forget it, check out iShares US Aerospace and Defense ETF ITA. But if you're more interested in a deeper dive on some of the smaller, more dynamic companies that are winning contracts from the Pentagon that we think have a lot of upside, check out our latest report on this topic. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow.